issued a strong warning to residents against indiscriminate waste disposal, stressing the dangers of blocked drainage systems and flooding. You know, recently, the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Wahab, highlighted that Lagos is expected to experience early and prolonged rains this year, which is a direct consequence of a natural phase of the El Nino Southern Oscillation, which is according to NIMET. So, as a people, we have a role to play. The state government has been working tirelessly to ensure that Lagos State isn't flooded, you know, when the rains, even the rains are here. What am I saying? When the rains come. So we, in particular, as residents, we have a strong role to play. Today, we'll be discussing waste management during the rainy season, and having this discussion with us is Olugbenga Adebola. He's the National President, Association of Waste Managers of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You know, before we came on air, I was saying that we need to help ourselves. You know,
Absolutely.
It is not about, we're not helping the government, because when this flood starts, we are the ones that will suffer it. And the government is, you know, doing so much to ensure that this flooding does not, you know, keep reoccurring. Can you tell us, please, what exactly, you know, is the state of waste management by Lagos residents today?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think this topic is actually apt now that we are actually going into the rainy season. First of all, we need to educate ourselves, all Lagosians, that of course Lagos is below the sea level. And as such, any little rain, no matter how little it is, before it flows into the lagoon, into the sea, then you have some level of congestion, especially when waste are dumped in the drainages. And that is why for us as waste managers, even as a waste management expert, we always educate people to say during the rainy season, even not before the rainy season, it should be a taboo as we can go back to our forefathers. Let's say it is against the law, but we say it is a warning, it is against, it is a taboo for anybody actually to begin to dump their waste inside the drainages. The small drainages and the gutters that you see in your frontage actually flows into some bigger drainages that flows into the lagoon, different tributaries, and then it goes again to go into the bigger oceans. So whatever that you do with your waste, especially if the waste are what we classify as non-biodegradable.
Yes.
And what are the waste that are classified as non-biodegradable? These are wastes that will not degrade. You know, that will not break down.
1,000 years, it will still be.
It's going to be
the
there, like plastic.
Yeah.
Whether it is pure water sachet, whether it is nylon, whether it is, PET bottles, whether it is even the nylon that you brought from the shopping,
from the
all manners of all those things. You know, once you dispose them in the drainages, and sometimes people don't even put them in the drainages. Some people don't even have, they just put it somewhere. And then the little breeze blows it into the drainages. And that is why we support what the Lagos State government is doing about the bin system. Currently, we are doing a one bin system where every waste that is generated in Lagos State is expected to be put into a waste bin in a commingled manner. But Lagos State also, through Loma, had gone ahead to say, look, we want to introduce the second bin, which is the two bin system, which is what is being introduced and is still being practiced right now, where every tenement is expected at least to have two waste bin in their frontage, one for the organic waste, while the other one for the recyclables. Once you are able to practice this, then you know that every waste that is generated, instead of people using sack, or they call akpo, whatever, all manners of akpo, and then you put your waste into it, and then you put it in your frontage. The goats, the rodents,
the cats, the dogs,
and all manners of even the akukos, you know, all the whatever, they will scatter it. And before you know what is happening, little breeze will blow them into the gutters in your frontage. And once they go into the gutters, when the rain comes, of course, the rain will not be able to flow freely. And that's when you begin to experience, you know, what we call flooding. And it has become a perennial issue, I mean, problem in Lagos. But ultimately, people should know that during the rainy season, and I dare say, you don't need to wait until the rainy season. Everybody must imbibe that culture of ensuring that you patronize that organization that is sent, you know, to collect the waste, which is expected to collect the waste from the doorstep of the waste generators. You must give them your waste. And of course, because a lot of people want to dodge payment, you know, they take their waste
and drop it on the road,
dump it to the nearest, whatever it is, either uncompleted building and all that. All this waste will aggregate and go into the drainages and begin to block our drainages and gutters. And of course, sometimes I remember maybe I was on this program or somewhere else where we also discuss the problem inherent in even the plastic and all manners of whatever that goes into the lagoon which the fish will feed on. They cause a lot of marine pollution. And all over the world, even those that are not Nigerians, I mean, and that's why sometimes you see it looks as if we Nigerians, we don't like ourselves. When the foreign organizations will be interested in Nigeria to say, let's go to Nigeria, let's go to Lagos or wherever, and begin to help them to recover all the marine waste, marine debris. But marine debris starts from the doorstep of somebody who has actually generated that waste. And for today, I think what we should be talking about really is to continue to emphasize the need for people to handle their waste effectively. Waste is like a fire. And fire is described as a very wonderful, what do we call it now? Somebody that you can be a very good, you can master the fire. Don't allow that fire to be your master. You can control it. So if you are able to control your waste, the way you handle it, then it will not lead to all manners of... I think people need to begin to know that the waste that they dispose or that they generate actually has a correlation, direct correlation with their well-being. So there is a nexus.
Sure.
We'll continue to say this, and we will not stop it. That there is a nexus between the waste that you generate and your well-being.
And who you are.
And who you are. And your health.
And your health.
Because, again, I want to emphasize this. Effective and efficient waste management system is actually pre-healthcare services. Once the waste is effectively collected, treated, transported and all and all that, treated, then you know that definitely you have a lesser prevalence of ill health. As they taught us while we were in primary school, prevention is cheaper than cure. So when you handle your waste very well, you are preventing the flooding, you are preventing pollution, all manners of pollution, 3 types of pollution, either water pollution, air pollution, or the soil pollution.
Okay, oftentimes I've seen the PSB operators when they come into our area and to pack the waste, I see that they themselves are the ones who separate, you know, this waste. But you said earlier that, okay, that we as the people who generate this waste should be able to do that ourselves, you know. Of course, that will save the time of this PSB operators. So is it also a mandate by waste management operators to ensure that if this waste are not properly sorted out, it is their job too? Because they take their time to sort this and cause traffic.
Okay, so unfortunately, and I say fortunately, waste is not a waste unless you waste it. So many of the wastes that people do dispose have a second life. They are what we call end of life, but they are what we call near end of life. Many of them, but they are not end of life. So they can still be recovered. like the plastic that we talked about, like the PET bottles that we talk about, like the paper, the aluminum, and whatever can still be recovered. So what many of our boys do is to also sort out the waste that has already been commingled by tenements. They sort it out for the purpose of recycling, which is implementing circular economy that we talk about. All over the world, people talk about circular economy right now. You know, we don't talk about waste from cradle to grave. No, we talk about from cradle to cradle. It is circular. What is your waste could be a raw material to somebody, either for recycling, for industrial development, for agricultural purposes and all that, conversion into organic waste and all that and all that. Of course, we can generate biogas. We can generate so many things that can even be used to power our energy, electricity, and all that and all that. So it's all encompassing. So unfortunately, it should have been good for the tenement like it is done in other climes. You go to some other places outside Africa, even in some few African countries, waste bins are provided for what we call source segregation. Source segregation, that is, you sort out your waste from the source, from the doorstep of the waste generators. So that is actually encouraged. But where people don't do it, for us it is still not a sin.
It's not a crime.
It's not a crime. Okay. It's not a sin. It's not whatever. Okay. But ensure that even your waste are collected in a single bin. Okay. Because a lot of people do indiscriminate dumping, indiscriminate disposal. They just do fly tipping, just dump wherever they, some small pocket of nylons. And that is why people who use nylon, they heap it here. Before 1 week or 2 weeks, when another round when they will come and collect the waste, the whole place is littered. But when you have a sizable bin, a standard 240-liter bin, you understand? I mean, that will serve you for 1 week or even 2 weeks. You understand? So it is encouraged that everybody at least must have a bin. And there's a standard bin that is being promoted by government. Loma was actually launched almost severally now. Adopt a bin, which is expected to encourage people to at least use a bin instead of just dumping your waste. And it makes the job of the PSP guys, the waste collectors, even much more easier. Okay. When they come to your frontage and there is a waste in the bin, they just wheel the waste, the bin, to the truck and then empty it. But when you have it littered everywhere, then you have given them a job to begin to pick. Pick here. Some even had gone into the drainage. And this is why some people always have a problem. When the PSP come to their frontage, they will say, okay, there is a waste in our gutters. You must also go there and collect some. The boys will say, no, we can't. That's not our job. Ours is just to go collect your waste from your waste bin.
Okay, now following the prediction, of prolonged rainfall by NEMET, what is your reaction as a waste manager, and what exactly are measures you are putting in place, or you have put in place, to guard against this?
So for us as waste managers, there are two approaches to the rainy season. Of course, operators will know that they must prepare and ensure that waste are collected promptly. That's on the part of the operators. But on the part of government too, we must also ensure that the dump sites are also easily accessible and available. Because there is no amount of waste collection that you collected. Once you are unable to dump them at the appropriate time, it will affect the overall service delivery. Like I always say, wherever I find myself, while the rain is friendly to the farmer, the Yoruba people will say, "Ore agbe oni ojo." So that same rain is an enemy to waste management. I need to declare here, because as the moment it is going to rain in Lagos, we are always jittery.
I was going to say, what is your first reaction when the rainy season comes?
When the rainy season comes, every waste manager does not like it. I must tell you the truth. Because it is going to mess up.
I look forward to the rain.
Yes, we look forward to the rain because it brings comfort.
Okay.
It brings food. It brings everything. It brings life. Rain is life. But to a waste manager, because that's when the dump site are messed up. That's when we can't even access the dump site because of the terrain, the road, and all that. So for us, we will expect that even while the rain is coming, the dump site are also prepared, so that it reduces the waiting time and increases the the turnaround time of the operators. Like I said, once waste are collected and they are unable to be dumped, then you won't be able to go back to collect another one. So it's a symbiotic relationship where waste is collected and sites are already prepared to receive the waste promptly, because when you dump, you go back and collect. That's when you don't have the backlog. And it's a chain reaction. Once one side of the activity is hampered, is hindered, it affects the overall service delivery. So for us, we're also working with our regulator, the government, and all that, not only in Lagos, but across Nigeria, to ensure that, the dump sites are properly prepared, and then dumping are done effectively. And of course, dumping are not also, for us, waste have gone beyond just dumping the waste. Waste, like I said earlier, is not a waste unless you waste it. Every waste that goes to the disposal facility are expected to be segregated, maybe into three main components: the recyclables, the combustibles, and the compostables. And all these ones can be converted and treated, for the purpose of...
So what are the examples of these combustibles, compostables? so that our viewers watching us can understand, we're also trying to educate them, on how to, prepare themselves, during the rainy season, on how to dispose their waste properly. So I'd like you to give me examples of all the different, types of waste you have mentioned.
Okay, so like I said earlier, that waste initially can be broadly divided into three main components: the combustibles, the compostables, and then the recyclables. Okay. Now, the combustibles are those wastes that have what we call high calorific value, that can burn quickly.
Like cans?
No. These are papers.
Oh,
these are plastics. These are even rags, your clothes, and all that, and all that. Okay. Those usually, most of them falls in the category of what we call the non-biodegradable. They are plastic, papers. They can burn quickly. That's what we say. They have high calorific value. Okay. High calorific value means they can burn, they can ignite, they can quickly. Okay. Even the woods, the whatever you remove glass, remove plastic, remove glass, remove aluminum, metals, and all that, scrap metals, remove them. So anything, even those chairs, they are all...
with foam.
Yes, with foam and all that. They have high calorific value. Okay. So those are the kind of waste that can be converted through various technologies. You can recover your syngas, that will also be used to power the turbines to generate electricity. Okay. We can generate quantum of megawatt of energy, electricity from such waste. In the developed world, you see they have what we call waste to energy facility. As an association, we're also partnering with a lot of, because these are the things that we're also bringing to Nigeria, to Lagos and every other part of Nigeria, where our waste is going to be converted through waste to energy, and not the waste to energy facility that has the resultant pollutants that will pollute the atmosphere. No, there's a standard, European standard, where the final thing is just the steam. Water. You understand? So those are the combustibles. Okay. The compostables. So don't mind me. I'm just bamboozling you with
big words.
With some big words. The compostables are those ones, the waste that we call the organic waste. Let me break it down for you again. Those are the ewedus, the ajekwe eba, ajekwe amala, the greeneries and all that. Those are the compostables. They can be converted into compost or biogas. You can recover biogas from it, also to be used to turn the turbines. The biogas itself can even be used to, you can use it for home cooking. And one of the resultant effect of that, or byproduct, is also the organic fertilizer. which is better than the chemical fertilizer that we use. So those are the compostables.
Okay.
And simple elementary biology taught us, even in primary school, how you get your leftover food and all that, make a small hole, you put it, and then you continue to turn it until after some days, and then they become very rich, what we call soil conditioner. And they are the best organic fertilizer that you can get, that will not add any toxicity or whatever. In fact, they are soil conditioners. Okay. Soils that are so bad and all that can be used to reawaken them. So the third one are the recyclables. As the name implies, they are the ones that can be recycled. So they are the plastic. Again, sometimes you see the plastic in the combustibles. You see them also in the recyclables. It depends on what you want to use them for. So some plastic can go for, recyclable, for recycling, like the PET bottles. Now, PET bottle is big money. And that's why you saw some of our boys.
They are now the ones sorting the waste themselves.
It is a source of extra money for them. Apart from what we pay them, they also recover money from all those waste. Okay. And then they make it. That's what they do. Some of them are making a job on daily basis, whatever. And we are happy to provide not only, an employment for them, but also another major source of livelihood through sustainability value chain. Okay. So those are the three main, so when waste are taken to like a material recovery facility, they are sorted out. And once these are done, then it makes, the turnaround of the vehicles that goes in there. But there will be technology. These days now,
like
it's a waste management is not just this thing.
And innovation.
You must apply innovations, technology, and what have you to be able to, because foreman, one person cannot do the work of foreman. You can only do, but with technology, you can do a lot.
Okay, I was coming to technology and innovations, and I wanted to find out, are there any new tools or technologies being deployed to improve waste management and, of course, tracking of this waste?
Fantastic. So we're working with Loma already we are tracking. So every PSP operator, so that's why sometimes when people say, oh, we didn't see them, every PSP operator that works in a particular area in Lagos State have an obligation to snap whatever that they are doing, through satellite. There's what they call GPS, what's it called? The GPS pictures and videos. Okay. They do that, and then they post. There's a particular platform through which we warehouse this. Every of the activities that will show the name of the street, the area, the time that they visited, and all that. I can show it to you on my phone. Okay. So that also is being done, But of course, we are also looking at what can even track our vehicle, so that wherever they go to, even without snapping, as long as the vehicle has that tracker, it can always, wherever it moves to, it can be tracked. Secondly, when they go to the dump site, if they are spending 1 hour, there will be no ambiguity that, no, I've been at the dump site for 2 hours, for 3 hours, for 5 hours, for 2 days. Once a truck approaches the dump site, the coordinate takes when they enter the dump site. And if it's going, the coordinate, the system also takes it. And also, every tenement, because a lot of people also dodge payment. So there are newer technology that will help to track what are you paying, what are you not paying. Okay. So technology makes the job so much easier now. But you see, it is not everybody that is deploying the technology. Because on your phone, your phone, you can do so many things. Yeah. A lot of people don't know so many functions that are on this phone. Many of us will just make a call, receive a call, send a text message, thank God for WhatsApp, and thank God for Facebook now, and then people are good. So, but there are so many things that we can do. But of course, you need to also pay a little more to be able to deploy such technology. Okay.
I want to find out that is the approach to waste management during the rains in inner cities different from those in the rural or less developed areas?
To be honest with you, there's no different approach.
Okay.
So the whole world is a global village now. And so whatever you do in the rural village or you do in the city will come back to haunt every one of us. And that is why even globally, the developed world it's like they are taking license to say, let us pollute the environment and then we'll pay for it, which is what we call the carbon credit. But for us, as much as carbon credit will bring some money and all that, it shouldn't really be, well, we'll support it because it will bring in money.
Money,
whether
of
you
course.
take it or not, whether you take it or not, it will still happen. So in the rural village, for instance, you see, when God created the whole universe, he created what we call balancing. Balancing in such a way that the system, that's what we call sustainability. The ecosystem, you know, requires some balancing.
Balancing.
We'll do that balancing so that. But right now, for instance, in the olden days, you see a village. When the water enters that village from the stream, that's where in the morning people will go and fetch that water. And then the water they move to the other end of the stream. That's where they will wash, some will even poo in the water and all that. That water is going to another village. But before it gets to another village, surprisingly, that water will have been purified, which is the natural purification system that God has put into it. But the rate at which we are taking, you know, the natural resources right now is more than, you know, that natural filtration, that natural replenishing. You know, so that's why everywhere is so polluted. The water that we drink, everything, the air that we breathe. Now people are cutting more trees. Naturally, God has created a system whereby the trees are expected to produce oxygen.
True.
And it is that oxygen that we need as human beings and animals to breathe in and breathe out carbon dioxide. So the system is so balanced that the quantum of the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, the trees that we have around will absorb them, because the trees also need the carbon dioxide to produce food, to make it bigger and grow. So it's just a fantastic relationship. Nobody is parasitic. You understand? But right now, majority of the trees are cut down. And so we give out more carbon dioxide, and the trees are not giving us oxygen, which is where we have a lot of pollution. So for us, waste management, whether in the rural area, whether in the larger community, must be handled effectively. There must be waste bin. If people in the rural area, the only difference is that we might need to design a special waste collection system for the rural areas, where you say, okay, because they are rural, you could have what we call communal disposal facility, like the waste bin where people can come, because they may not have, like the agboles and all that, they may not be able to have.
They can't have those bins.
They can't have those bins, and vehicles cannot go into. So all of them can come down, and it is also done abroad, and that's why we say, you know, to have an effective waste management, you need to take into consideration the local peculiarities. No single system or solution can solve all waste management problems across anywhere. What is obtainable in Ikeja here will be different from what is going to be obtainable in Ajangbadi, in Gberigbe, in Okerube, or in Ikorodu, Imota area. And at the same time, it's going to be different from what is going to be obtainable in Victoria Island, in Aja and all that. So you need to take into cognizance those local peculiarities and ensure that every waste that is generated are collected from the doorstep of the waste generators. That is the solution. Once waste are collected from the doorstep of the waste generators, you can be rest assured that, I mean, it's the disposal end that we need to take care of.
So considering the population in Lagos, is Lagos State, you know, capable of managing the waste generated daily?
Of course, Lagos. Residents? I mean, see, so let's give it to Lagos. Even though
I also want you to talk about, you know, some infrastructural gaps, because some people have sent some questions that, look, the PSP trucks itself also add to, waste pollution on the roads that they don't properly manage. Okay, we'll take it one at a time.
Yes.
I hope we still have time.
So, okay, yes, of course, there are some infrastructural gaps when it comes to waste management, even in Lagos. As much as Lagos is still in the forefront of waste management, I mean, beyond any state in Nigeria, we must give it to Lagos, and kudos to all the successive governments since the time of our His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the governor, now the president. He laid a very good foundation all through to other successors, including Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, and up till our current governor, present governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. You know, they've been in the forefront, showing the way. However, you see, there are still infrastructural gaps that especially we need to develop more. And I know the commissioner for the environment, the current commissioner for environment, is always all out, and I want to also give him kudos. Very all out, very hardworking young man. I always got his back anyway. So I need to say this publicly, because we are working out to say, let's just improve on this infrastructural gap, like the dump site, the waste treatment facility. I mean, I'm aware that they signed a waste to energy facility in Ekpe, you know, and so many other things like that, and even some other MOUs that had been signed. However, talk about the trucks of the PSP. The truck of the PSP is an ongoing thing. Trucks will come, trucks will go. But you know what, let me drop this here, because it's very important that everybody knows. 3 years ago, a single compactor that you see collecting waste on the street of Lagos was just about 12 million, 13 million naira. You are shocked that it is that expensive. One single compactor was 12 million, 13 million naira 3 years ago. But right now, that same truck, I'm talking about Tokumbo, fairly used. That same truck currently now goes for 55, 60 million naira. And the rate at which people are paying 3 years ago is still what we're still paying. So what we are saying is that, see, it is a collective responsibility. People must also pay what we call cost-reflective tariff. Because there's a need for replacement of those trucks. Even though I need to also add this, that no equipment, as long as it is an engine okingbo. You see abroad, some people are still using a Mercedes-Benz of 1945. They are still driving it. Why? It is because it's the functionality of maintenance. You understand? But to maintain it, you need a lot of money. So what you get at the end of it all in terms of cost recovery, people must pay. Since 1996, they conducted a pilot scheme, 1996-97. There was a pilot scheme that was conducted in Lagos State where they test run the willingness of people to pay for services rendered, and they test run the capacity of the private sector also. Now, since that time, waste is no longer a social service. What we practice in Lagos is the PPP, the second PPP, which is not very popular, polluter pay principle. You generate the waste, you must pay for the evacuation of that waste. And people must pay promptly. But a lot of people in Lagos will run. So there's a need for enforcement in that area, so that people don't even take their waste on the highway. It's sometimes people want to dodge. They just take it to the highway, dump it in the drainage, which is what we are talking about, you know, the flooding and all that and all that. Everybody must wait in your frontage and ensure that the waste is collected. And if the PSP does not come, because you are not taking your waste, then we'll be able to identify those that will not come.
Since you said you can track.
We can track
the movements of the
We can track everybody. So if they are not coming, then we'll know that why is the waste in this area. We will not defend anyone that is not working.
Not working. Okay.
They know. We will not defend anybody that is not working. But the condition must also be conducive for working. For instance, I was discussing with somebody before I came on board. I won't mention the person. And we are analyzing what exactly is the cost. If you see a compactor truck, a PSP truck, that goes on the road from wherever it is, that is going to cost about 167 to 170,000 naira. When that truck is fully loaded, it may not have realized up to 70,000 naira. There is a deficit in the income. So these are all the things that we are looking at to say yes, and we're talking with government. We'll sit down, we'll ensure that, because it's a collective responsibility to have an effective and efficient waste management anywhere in the whole world. Everybody must sit down at the table, bring your solution, bring your solution, and then we'll be able to. But you know what? We'll still give the kudos to Lagos State government, you know, because Lagos is still in the forefront. But we know that we can. I mean, several years ago, we are bringing people not only from Nigeria, from all over Africa, to come and understudy what we are doing in Lagos. And then for us, we still want to go back to that, to ensure that all hands must be on deck to ensure that we have this thing. Let me also quickly share this, and this will shock you. In November, the association brought a truck as a display from Europe to Nigeria to show demonstration that we can do this. And the association members are ready to go all out. But do you know the cost of that the landing cost of that truck? 270 million naira. One single truck. It looks crazy. 270 million naira. One single truck. The amount I gave you of 12 million naira now, for 55 to 60 was that of the Tokumbo, what they call Belgium. Even if you go to Asia, which is with the cheapest, like Chinese and whatever, a single truck of compactor is now over 200 million naira. Sometimes people will look at it, they will say, are you people crazy? Is this the kind of money you put into this and then you use that truck
to carry rubbish,
to carry waste? Waste, like we said, is highly, highly capital intensive. And you know what? The income that comes from it is long term, is in trickle. So we, association, the operators also need, you know, some what we call long-term funding. Not that like the kind of interest rate that we have in Nigeria of 30 something percent. No, it's not going to do. It may be for businesses that are buying and selling. Karakata, you can get that. Even Karakata itself cannot even pay that. But with an industry that is, number one, it is an essential services. Everybody generates waste. And that waste must be collected. And like I said, once waste are effectively collected, it is pre-healthcare services. It saves the environment, saves us, saves everything.
That was quite enlightening. Everybody, every hand must be on deck.
All hands must be on deck.
Not just the government, not just the waste managers, and not just the residents. So everybody must work together for proper waste disposal, especially during the rainy season. Thank you very much, Olugbenga Adebola, National President, Association of Waste Managers of Nigeria. And he's been enlightening us on waste management during the rainy season. We'll be right back after this short break.